Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, October 19th, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. You'll notice here, lower low failure. A little bit of choppiness here back and forth, but this thing was able to push beyond a prior pivot high. Close with a late rally yesterday, closed above the day's midpoint. Today, bit of a pullback in pre-market and overnight trading back down toward the previous session's lows. Not quite there. And this is kind of up in the air right now at the moment. You have a very clear bearish downtrend here with price testing the bearish Pima trigger zone, very similar to back here, and ultimately that led to new lows. That would be the primary idea here from a bear perspective, but bulls, on the other hand, here are looking for a failure at the previous session's low. A lower low failure could begin to push price back up, especially off the 8-period average here. Here's your 8-period Pima. If price tests that area and starts to go bid, this could become a failed new low that leads to a surprising move higher. So right now, back-to-back days here of range-bound action. We are in a very short-term flow higher. Again, if there's a rejection at the previous session's low, that could begin to lead to a bit of strength here today. A failure to hold the previous session's low, and you're opening up some downside price discovery, very similar to this. So right now we're kind of in here, and if you start to break down, that could open up quite a bit of weakness here to new lows. On the other hand, if we do get that rejection here at the previous session's low, right in this zone, that could start to push things back up, and we may have a surprising short-term rally. So right now, kind of up in the air here as price tests this Pima trigger zone, keeping an eye on the previous session's low. If we take a look at the NQ, it's a similar look and feel here. Again, the NQ has been predominantly downtrending ever since August here, at least in this current downtrend. We've seen a little bit of a bounce back up, again, inside the bearish Pima trigger zone right now, very similar to what we've seen here, and that could lead to another round of weakness up ahead. That's the most likely scenario here, is for a continuation down out of this range. Again, bulls were able to get a lower low failure, and we're able to push higher, keeping this strong low in play despite a close below the rejection day midpoint. So again, keeping an eye on the previous session's low here, keeping an eye on that 8-period average on a test from above. There could be some sort of failed low that leads to a bit of strength, and that could open up some upside in the very near term ahead. So again, continue to watch that previous session's low. Watching crude oil. Crude oil is up just over 1.5% right now. This one had quite the sell-off in the previous session here, melting down from 85s all the way into about 81s. Yesterday's low 81.30. The key level here comes in to this low right there, and that's your zone, and that's about 81. So 81 is the low back here, 81.30 the low back here, and bulls trying to keep this area bid at the moment. So again, the overall downtrend caught up with crude oil. You can see the downtrend here, you can see the rejection, the failure here, and we've rolled this thing down from that high. It looks very similar to any of these other meltdowns that we've seen here a bit. Again, through 81 opens up new lows and that 75 target. So 81 is the key level there. If 81 continues to hold, perhaps we see a little bit of a bounce back up, but that's within the downtrending action here, at least on the short term. So at the moment, keeping an eye on 81s for a break or bounce. If we take a look here at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is holding within a narrow 4-day range at the moment after a strong rejection low last Thursday. Again, when you have a strong rejection here and you go sideways for multiple days, again, not the best rejection opportunity, especially if you fail back through that mid. Right now, again, this one is still building some energy. It really hasn't seen a whole lot of good movement to the upside, even when it has found rejection. Lately, the lower highs are getting lower and lower and lower, and we are right here at an apex of this descending range right now, where something's got to give sooner than later. Again, we mentioned before, above the previous month's midpoint could open up some upside. and through 18K could open up some downside. And right now we're coming up to that point where something's got to give very soon. Taking a look at ETH futures, this one is perfectly flat right now. Narrow range, inside a narrow 4-day range, inside this narrow range that has developed over the last month. Super narrow range. Again, another one of those compressions that don't really give a whole lot of movement either way, but very soon it will open up some movement outside the range. Above 1400 opens up some strength, and below 1300 opens up the previous lows. We continue to see a downtrend overall. The expectation is for more weakness up ahead, but again, we could be compressing until that breakout occurs. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.